Hey, hello everyone. So, this is my first queretaroensis, my first Stenocereus queretaroensis flower of the season. And um I'm really excited about this season. I know I'm going to get a ton of fruit. I have a lot of Stenocereus different types budding right now. So, I'm going to be able to cross-pollinate all of them. But regardless, I still use this vacuum as a backup to save pollen. And I keep it in the fridge if I'm going to use it within the next week or two. And I freeze it if I'm to save it for longer than that. And you can see it's clean right now, somewhat clean. And I want to save some of this pollen. But before I extract the pollen with this, I want to make sure it's loose. And it is. Look, I'm going to give it a little shake, and you can see the pollen falling. You see this? Look. So the pollen is ready. You can see the pollen right there. It's ready. So the pollen grows on these little circles right here, which are called the anthers. And you have to wait for them to burst. If the flower opens early, sometimes they won't burst, and the pollen will be stuck in the anthers. So it's not a good idea to vacuum that, because the anthers won't pop, and you'll have a bunch of the anthers and the pollen in the circles inside the anthers. So I always wait for the anthers for them to burst or pop, as some people say, and then you can see the pollen is loose. Excuse my dirty hands. I have a laborer's job where my hands are calloused, and I do a lot of gardening, so I don't have pretty hands. Yeah, I have rough working hands. Anyways, so yeah, what I love about this particular queretaroensis, unlike a few other ones that I have, this one has the stigma which sticks out. It's in the middle. Sometimes you get flowers that the stigma is way in here and it's covered by all these anthers, and it's hard to get to it to cross-pollinate it. But look at how easy this flower is to pollinate. You see, there's no anthers surrounding it. You see, I stick my finger in there. There's no anthers, so it's completely freed up. The only issue is that the stigma is kind of, the tip is closed, but you could easily pry it open just by moving it around. And it sticks out. Let me show you here how it sticks out. You see, it's not buried. It's not buried. So this is really accessible. That's a good thing about this particular I should say clone of this queretaroensis. Like I said, there's some which I have an orange one, or a yellow pulp fruit one, which it's a lot harder to pollinate because it's really dense with the anthers and all this stuff in the middle, and the flowers are a lot smaller. Look how big this flower is. For a queretaroensis, this is a really extra large flower. Anyways, I'm gonna vacuum now. See how much pollen I could extract. If I were to get a cup, which I've done in the past, you hold it down here, or a little bowl, and you move everything around to loosen the pollen. You do get a fair amount of pollen, but nothing compared to using like a keyboard vacuum like this. It's kind of funny. This one's called Meko. That's a brand. I don't think they sell this in Amazon anymore, but there's a lot of them that are the same. They all do the same thing. This is a keyboard vacuum. And it's funny about the name. If you speak Spanish, you know it's extra funny to see that the name is Meko. Little inside joke there for the Spanish speakers. Anyways, so when I turn this on, lights up red back here, and this charges with a little micro USB. And I've used this a lot, and I've only had to charge it for, once every 4 months. Yeah. Anyways, so let's extract some pollen here to see how much I could extract with this little vacuum today. So you'll see a lot of the anthers will fall off because of I'm vacuuming all of it. So let me keep going here. And I recently collected some Stenocereus pollen, Stenocereus Stenocereus pollen, and that's what I'm going to use to pollinate this flower right here. So you could rewind the video later after the video is done, and you could compare it to see how the flower looked before and after. You see a lot of the anthers fall off, and you can see the pollen I collected here. Let me open up this this little vacuum so you can see. I don't have my little camera holder, but I'm gonna go grab it right now so I could use it when I pollinate. Look, so this is pollen and some of the anthers, but you could see there is a lot of pollen. It's just the powder. The powder is the pollen. Look at all that pollen. It's crazy. And what I'll do is I'll put this in a airtight container, put a silica pack in there, or silicant. Some people say silicant. It's silica, and then that helps keeps moisture out. It absorbs all the moisture, because if this is damp, it'll no longer be viable. So I'll let this dry out probably for another maybe 20 minutes in the house, and then I'll seal it away in a airtight container with the silica pack in it, and I'll put that in a Ziploc bag and put another silica pack in the Ziploc bag, and then I'm going to put this in the refrigerator, not the freezer. If I put it in the refrigerator, I'm going to use it in the next week or two, and if it's more than that, I'll put it in the freezer. But I'm just going to put this in the refrigerator because I'm going to use. I have so many flowers opening soon. I'm going to use some of this. But this is going to be my backup. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of flowers opening up at the same time where I won't need any of the refrigerated pollen. But I will put a date on this pollen just so I know after 2 weeks. I wouldn't trust that this will be 100% viable. It might be, but I would rather collect more fresh pollen and put it in the refrigerator in its place and freeze a few. So, but this one I am going to refrigerate. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to show you guys me collecting pollen for this season and showing you guys my first queretaroensis flower of the season. I have many more that seem like they're going to open tomorrow, like maybe some of these. But this is my first one and my only one tonight, unfortunately. But I have some Stenocereus Stenocereus pollen, and I'll be using that to pollinate this. Let me show you that. Stay tuned. 1 second. Okay, guys, so this is my outside fridge. It's not super clean, but again, it's an outside refrigerator. So this is a freezer. Here's pollen I have from last year. See, this is from over a year ago, and this was my backup. So after I'm gonna get rid of this pollen soon because it's already kind of old. I'm gonna replace it with the new flowers that are opening now. But this is my backup. This is my frozen pollen. This is Stenocereus pollen. Yeah, so this is my frozen pollen. This is my backup. So freezer for long time use, and there's I refrigerate the short term use, which I collected some Stenocereus pollen yesterday, and yeah, here it is. You can see it down here, and again, a Ziploc container with the silica pack, and I put a silica pack inside the internal specimen container inside. And I like to use a brush. If you see my other videos, I like to use a brush. But you could also use a micro cotton swab, which is this right here. Sorry again about my ugly hands. I need to scrub them and use a pumice stone to clean my hands. I have working hands. Anyways, so here is the little micro cotton swab. These are really cheap, and they hold pollen really well. So you could use this. Sometimes I like to use just a straight up brush. It holds more pollen, but either work fine. This one's more precise. So for precision, you could use this guy here. What should I use today for this video? You know what? I'm gonna use the micro one. The micro cotton swab I mostly use for even smaller flowers, like smaller cacti flowers. I have a mess here. They're closed right now, but like little flowers like that off little cacti that I want to cross and grow some, get some seeds from. I'll go ahead and use those. These are some cool Stenocereus hybrids right here that I grew from seed, and some Neoromondias right here. No top dressing yet. Anyways, that's beside the point. So I'm gonna open up this this container and get some pollen to pollinate that. Get it down. You see all the pollen down there. Look at all that. It's a lot of pollen. And you only need a little bit, but I'm gonna dab this pretty well down there. And you can see the tip is now full of pollen. Let me put that aside here. And then I'm gonna seal my container. I don't want it to oxidize, so I cover it as soon as possible so I can put it back in the refrigerator. I roll it like this to try to get as much air away from it, or outside, out of the bag, because that is how it oxidizes, which is where it gets the name, the oxygen. So I'm gonna chuck this back in the fridge, and I'm gonna go pollinate now my queretaroensis with my Prenosis flower. Oh, my Prenosis pollen. Here it is. Look at this, a lot of pollen. That's more than enough. I do often use a brush instead, but you could use, for, just so you know, you could use these little ones. These I only use maybe once. Sometimes I will use it multiple times. If I'm making a hybrid, I always get a fresh one though, because I want to make sure I don't have any other pollen in there. Anyways, so what I'm gonna do here is I gotta open up the stigma. You see the stigma? It's kind of it's shut. So I'm gonna hold it with one hand and use the blunt end of the cotton swab here, just to play with it a little bit to open up the stigma. You can see how easily it's open. And now I'm gonna go ahead and pollinate it with this pollen here. And that's all there is to it. This flower has been pollinated. Yeah, this flower has been pollinated. And that's it. I like to play with there's a lot of firm believers that say, oh, you know, once you put the pollen in there in a little hole, you gotta move it around so that the pollen works its way down the pistil all the way to the ovaries of the plant to ensure fruit. But I mean, I do this to dragon fruit. I'll tap it to make sure the pollen goes down, but I think we're fine here. Anyway, so this is now pollinated, and that's all there is to it, guys. Anyways, I'm excited to do a lot more videos this year. I have so many more queretaroensis and other Stenocereus and other types of cacti that are budding. Check out this one. This one is really skinny compared to this one. Look how plump they are. How plump this one is. This one didn't root last season, and I thought it was a goner. This winter for like a week when it rained a lot, I covered it just because it would probably rot and die, and it survived winter even though it had no roots and it looked like crap. But I think it's starting to root now. I feel like it's starting to plump up a little bit, and I mean, it still has enough power and energy in it to start shooting out buds, even though I don't like that, because it needs to focus on root development, because it takes so much energy and life force from the cacti to produce these huge, beautiful buds and flowers. So this one is in no condition to be producing a lot of buds and flowers, and it has a lot of buds. Look at this. I went around and counted at least 20 buds. So what I'm going to end up doing is probably just snapping off. Oh, they're on there pretty good, but I'm just gonna yeah, no, these buds there you go. So I'm going to end up snapping off the buds, because I do not want them to I don't want these buds to grow. I want it to focus all its energy in its roots, because look, again, you could see these ribs. You could see within the ribs how close they are together, because they're not fat, and compared to this nice and lush thick plant. So yeah, this is really skinny looking, beat up. Again, once these buds get a little bigger, I'm probably going to get a little like X-Acto blade or a little box cutter, and I'm just going to cut the buds so they don't grow. I really want this plant to not use its energy growing buds, and I want it to focus on developing a better root system. Anyways, I have so many buds right now. Let's see, I want to show you guys really quick. These are some other queretaroensis I have here, and these still need time. It's gonna be like another week. This one too, like another week. But I mean, there's variations. These all came from a friend who has these huge mother plants, and you can see variation here. This one and this one are the same. I call this one Hulk because it's the thickest one that he has, and this is the second thickest. The other ones were pretty thin. Anyways, you see all the green in these buds? Well, this one didn't give me fruit last year, so maybe it's a different fruit color. But this one is a red fruit, and I believe this is a hybrid. It's super fat, and I nicknamed it Hulk because it's so thick. It's crazy, and it has so many buds all over the plant. It has so many buds. This one too, it has so many buds. Yeah, but it's crazy. It's crazy how thick this one is, and it gives a really big, nice sized red fruit. This one, you see all the green. I'm thinking it's not gonna give a red fruit, but who knows? I'm really excited to find out. I'm hoping it's white, but it might be yellow. It might be a yellow pulp, which is more common. Hopefully it's white or pink, but we'll see. We'll see. In the old books that they have when they describe queretaroensis, they never mentioned the pink color, which in Mexico they call purple, even though it looks more pink, fuchsia. And I think what happened is that I think there was a cross pollination between a red and a white, and that grew from seed. I think it was a hybrid, and the fruit color of that one came out pink, and that's why I think pink is now more out there. And before they in the wild, they have only mentioned yellow, pulp, white, and red. And now there's pink, which again in Mexico they call purple for some reason. They call it morado, which is purple. So I'm hoping this is not red, because I have plenty of red. Red is the most common, and then it's yellow. So I'm hoping this is not red or yellow, but if it's yellow, that's cool. I'd rather have more yellow than more red, because I have so many red. Anyways, guys, this was just a short Stenocereus rant. That's it for now, guys. Hopefully you guys subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll be making some more videos. If you guys have any suggestions on videos, let me know, and I'll go ahead and do them. I need to repot this one, or I might take it to my dad's house and plant it there. This has so many buds, and I have it in a little container, and it's falling over. Yeah, I might put it in a 15-gallon, or I might take it to my dad's to plant it in the ground. But yeah, all right, guys. Cheers for now.